Hey there, and welcome to That's a Wrap for November 2021. This is the show where I run through all of the games, movies, comics, manga, TV, and anything in entertainment that I consumed this month. So here we are, the second to last episode of this series for the year of 2021. Let me know what you thought of this month in the comments down below. And with that, let's hop right into it. So this video is probably going to be pretty short this month, mainly because I've been busy with work, haven't had a lot of time to dedicate towards making videos and even playing games and consuming any content in general. But I did get the chance to finish 2 games this month, which were Guardians of the Galaxy on November 26th. I actually got the platinum on this. I had a really fun time with it. It was, it came out in October, so it took me roughly a month to get the platinum on it, which by no means is fast at all. It's actually really slow. If you're trying to get the platinum, you can get it a lot faster. But I had a really good time with it. It was a really fun story. I loved all of the characters. They were super unique and interesting. Their take on the dynamic that is there with the Guardians themselves, spot on. 100% nailed the bickering and the headbutting that the group experiences, but also how towards the end of the story they all came together and realized each other's strengths and weaknesses and got along. It was a really fun story to follow and introduced me to a lot of characters from the Marvel universe that I wasn't super familiar with. Because I'll be totally honest, I am one of those Marvel fans that hopped on during the MCU hype train, so I'm trying to go out and read some more comics and get familiar with some of the characters, as well as play games like this that explore different aspects of the Marvel universe that I'm just not super familiar with. So if you're looking for a game that handles Marvel, the Marvel franchise, better than the Avengers game did, which it's fine for what it is. The single player is actually pretty fun in the Marvel game or in the Avengers game, but if you want an even better single player experience, check out Guardians of the Galaxy. And then on November 29th, I finished A Short Hike, a really short and simple indie game that came out a while ago. I played the native PS5 version. I don't remember if it came with a PS4 version as well. It might have just been the PlayStation 5 version, but no complaints from me. It's super fun. It's a game I've been aware of for a while, but I think it came on sale, or maybe I just picked it up. It was fairly cheap if I remember correctly, but really fun, short, fun game. I do want to go back and get the platinum at some point, because it just feels like one of those games that you sit down for a couple hours and and then you have the platinum. And when I initially sat down, I did want to go and get the platinum trophy, but I decided ultimately that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to play it and experience it. It's the end of the month. Let's just wrap up another game and see how it plays out. And I no regrets. If you can find it for super cheap, it's probably always on sale on Steam, I would imagine. I know it is on the Nintendo Switch, so check the Switch store, the Nintendo eShop. And I played it on PS5, like I said, and I would imagine it's on the Xbox. Probably. I think so. I don't know. Regardless, really fun game, and that was A Short Hike. So next up for comics / manga that I've read this month, fairly short list again. Found myself kind of lacking or slacking off with some of my reading habits, but I did finish 3 volumes of comics. I finished the first volume of the Witcher comic, House of Glass, on November 19th. That was a fairly fun, interesting story about Geralt and I can't remember if it was a woodsman or some kind of hunter. I can't remember what exactly his role was, going into a house, and essentially chaos ensues. There's a bunch of zombified people there. There's a what is it called? A grave hag? Something like that. I can't remember exactly what the name is. But a lot of chaos ensues as they go into this house, and there's multiple rooms and seems to be changing around them. all the while we unravel a story of, is this woodsman, is this guy really who he says he is? Is he as good as he says he is? Is he a saint? Is he not? We slowly unravel that, and this being my first time reading a Witcher comic, I really thought it was pretty good. It was a lot of fun, and I definitely had a lot more fun in the follow-up, Volume 2. That was a compilation of the chapters for the Fox Children story arc, and I finished that on November 25th. That was, I think, more enjoyable for me than the House of Glass, mainly because I like the idea that there's a... what is it? A Geralt, basically, in the story, he gets picked up and hired for protection of this ship crew, along with he has a traveling companion who's a dwarf whose name I can't remember. But the two of them go on this ship and try and escort these guys through a swamp that's potentially infested with I don't remember the name of it. It's essentially a fox that can turn into a human and not like a werefox. So it's like an anti-werefox. And that monster has special powers and can change the forest, and and ultimately the crew end up kidnapping one of this fox's children. So yeah, needless to say, they weren't too happy, and they tried to kill off the Witcher and kill off the whole crew. So by changing the forest, freaking them out. Now that I'm saying it out loud, there's a lot of similarities between House of Glass, the Volume 1, and Fox Children Volume 2. There's some kind of mystical entity that's changing the environment around our character. That's, I didn't think about that. But still really fun. I had a good time reading those two volumes of The Witcher. I saw that a Volume 6 is coming out, I think, next month? And next month being January. I could be wrong. I have to double check that, but I am moving on to Volume 3, but I haven't finished it quite yet. And after that, I wrapped up a comic called Ronin Island, and that was Volume 1. It's really cool. It takes place after a war kind of tore apart Eastern Asia, and you have a group of displaced people. There's Chinese people, Korean, Thai, Japanese, and I think Vietnamese. I can't remember if Vietnamese people were mentioned to that or not. But essentially it's about this island of people that have come together and tried to create a better life for themselves. But of course, it doesn't go that way. And these, I don't know how to describe them. They're like almost like demons, I guess, essentially. They start attacking this village immediately after some samurai come and say, hey, plead fealty to our shogun or new shogun, and everyone's like, fuck off, yeah, right. So it's super interesting. I am definitely going to stick through it because there's only 3 volumes. Volume 1 was super interesting, and I am actually intrigued to see how the story is going to play out with the character dynamics between essentially two main up-and-coming samurai characters, the rich kid and the poor girl. And I love clashing dynamics like that, so I'm really excited to see how that all plays out. And last up, the manga I read this month. Not too much. I have the Shonen Jump app, so I subscribe to that every month. I recently have not been reading a lot of manga, but I've been trying to get back into it. So I continued my non-ending journey of reading One Piece. I didn't read too much. I read chapters 625 through 636, which encompasses, I think, the end of Volume 63 and all of Volume 64. So I basically I wrapped that up at the end of November. November 30th is when I finished Volume 64. So it's smack dab in the middle of the Fishman Island arc. I don't know the proper name of it, but yeah, they're on Fishman Island, and all hell is breaking loose. The king is being attacked, the princes are being attacked, Luffy's trying to save everyone. So classic One Piece arc. But it's really fun. I definitely have a few manga that I'm in the middle of, and I want to get around to finishing. I've been reading through the compendiums, I guess omnibuses really, of Gaunt's. I read that back in college and rereading them, so I think I have up to Omnibus 7. I think that's the newest one. So I'm going to try and wrap that up, as well as push on through more One Piece, because I know there's another 400 chapters ahead of me, so I got a ways to go on that. So, for the movies I watched this month, only watched 2. Nothing really too terribly exciting. Not really too much came out that I was super intrigued by. I did miss Last Night in Soho. I want to watch that when it comes out on digital, as well as The French Dispatch. I've been waiting for that and missed that, unfortunately. Movie theaters around here aren't playing it anymore. But I did get the chance to see Eternals on November 24th. I got sucked into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I don't miss any of the Marvel films that come out into theaters, so I thought it was really good. I heard a lot of people kind of poo-pooing on it, but I thought this was a really fun Marvel film. Kind of a change, sort of interesting concept for the characters, that they essentially can't die unless they're killed, and it sounds redundant for someone called the Eternals, but they just live forever, and I didn't know anything about the Eternals, just like I didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy before I watched that film. So the Eternals are super interesting, and the fact that the end of the movie teased some up-and-coming Eternals and Eternals adjacent things is super interesting, and I'm really excited to see how they get incorporated into the greater Marvel universe. And then a couple days later, on November 27th, I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. Again, another movie that everyone kind of crapped on, but I thought it was pretty fun. I am not a diehard fan of Ghostbusters. I passively like it. It's fun. And I just thought that this movie was fun. I didn't really hate it. I thought it was a good time. Nice. I guess it's not summer blockbuster. It's fall, winter now, but I had a good time with it. I think go into it with tempered and reasonable expectations, and you'll come out of it having a good time. And I only watched a little bit of TV. I've been trying to bring more TV watching into my daily or weekly routine. I have a couple shows that I want to talk about next month that I will definitely finish this month. But I did finish The Witcher Season 1 from Netflix on November 11th. It took me a very long time to watch this show, but towards the end I did end up kind of binging all of it, and it was really fun. I had a good time with it. I had a hard time in the beginning getting into it, and I didn't understand the storytelling. It was kind of disjointed, and I remembered that the books kind of tell the story this way, where it kind of hops around a good bit, where me coming from The Witcher 2 was my first Witcher experience, and then The Witcher 3 was the next one. I hadn't read any of the books up until that point, and I've only read the short story collections, so not Witcher 1 to 6 or whatever it is. I read the first short story compilation, and then they have another one, and then they have Volume 1 or Witcher 1 or whatever you call it. And I don't know, so I guess that kind of threw me for a loop. I was really confused, and I had to look up, and being a couple episodes in, when I jumped back into the show, I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And sure enough, it was like, okay, here, this is happening, this is how the story is broken down. I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. So if going into season 2, if I know they do that the same way, makes perfect sense. But if they do tell it in a more linear, straightforward fashion, I'd probably appreciate that a little bit more. So like I said, not much for my media consumption this month, but we do have a handful of games coming out December, even if it's not too many. On December 2nd, we have Dairoku Agents of Sakuratani. Hope I didn't butcher that. That's coming to Nintendo Switch. And then Solar Ash coming to Windows, PS4, and PS5. On December 3rd, we have Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, coming to the Nintendo Switch. Course coming to Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. Danganronpa Decadence, coming to Nintendo Switch. Disney Magical World 2 Enhanced Edition, coming to the Nintendo Switch. On December 7th, we have Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker expansion All of you Final Fantasy XIV fans are freaking out, I know. It's really close. It's almost here. Coming to Windows, Mac, PS4, and PS5. As well as Spellforce 3 Reforced coming to Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. December 8th, long last, the Halo Infinite campaign is coming out. It's coming to Windows, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. I'm definitely going to check it out. I got myself an Xbox Series X this month, so I am ready to dive in and ready to actually play some good-looking Halo. I liked Halo 5, but Infinite just has me way more intrigued, and currently playing through Horizon Zero Dawn, so I am more than ready for some more open world fun. December 9th, Demon Gaze Extra is coming to Nintendo Switch and PS4. Loop Hero is coming to Nintendo Switch. Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX is coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, and iOS. December 10th, Siberia The World Before is coming to Windows. December 16th brings us Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo, coming to Windows. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is coming to Windows, PS4, and PS5. The Gunk is coming to Windows, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. And finally, Record of Lodos War, Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth, that's a mouthful, is coming to Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. And then finally, on December 23rd, rounding out the year, at least according to my Wikipedia reference, is Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, which is coming to Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems. And there we go, guys. That wraps it up for November 2021. So, did you play any fun games? Did you watch any fun movies? Did you read any fun books? Or comics? Or manga? I don't discriminate. Let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully you found this entertaining. Leading into December. I guess we're in December now. I always start to reflect back at the year and try and look forward and think of things I want to do better next year, think of things I want to do next year. And definitely create more content is up there, along with being more creative in general. So who knows, maybe you'll see some more interesting videos, some different kind of content on the channel, and just kind of things that I want to experiment with. I don't know, we'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I will definitely be back next month with my December roundup, I guess you could say, to close out 2021. And of course, be on the lookout for more streams and any content I may put up on the channel in the coming month. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.